All praise, glory, now is most certainly due to the Most High, God of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And peace to you in the name of Jesus. This is your brother Elisha Israel, house of faith, and I count it truly a blessing each and every single time that I can come before you preach the word of God. Never do I count it as they like getting to do, so I know I'm coming before you a little early today, or a lot early. Had to get this one in, and the title is "Don't Blame It on the Alcohol." Don't blame it on the alcohol. You know, there are a lot of misconceptions about alcohol usage. You know, people, at least I was taught growing up, that if you call yourself a religious person, you weren't supposed to drink alcohol at all. And I just assumed that the Bible actually said that. But like most things that are taught in the Christian church, the Bible doesn't say that. Now, the Bible does speak against drunkenness, but it doesn't speak or prohibit the use of alcohol. Okay, that's not so when a person has a drink, that's not sin. But what you want to do is you want to be wise with such a substance, because it's like anything else, too much of it can be detrimental. Okay, so I want to start off in Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter, because you want to go to the law. If something's illegal or something is against Torah, then it'll be stipulated, right? So let's see what the Bible says about alcohol. I'm gonna just pick it up at Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter, verse 26. Actually, I'm gonna pick it up in verse 22, because it says, "Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed that the field bringeth forth year by year." So now this is the tithing of what you have. Then it says, "And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there." We know that was Jerusalem. "The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. And if the way be too long for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, then shalt thou turn it into money, and bind up the money in thine hand, and thou shalt go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose." So now he says, turn what you're about to tithe, whether it be of the tithe, the corn, or the wine, or the oil, or the firstlings of the herd, and turn it into money. Okay, get money for it. Then it says, "And thou shalt bestow that money." Verse 26, "And thou shalt bestow that money for whatsoever thou so lusteth after." So he's selling you whatever you want, not any and everything that violates God's law, obviously, but he's saying you can take it, and if you want oxen or for sheep, then it says something, or for wine, or for strong drink. Now, strong drink is like whiskey, brothers and sisters. That's stronger than wine. Okay, "Or for whatsoever thou so lusteth, and thou shalt eat there before the Lord thy God, and thou shalt rejoice, thou and thine household." So right then and there, the Bible is telling you, giving a situation in which if you wanted to drink wine, that's fine, right? So the Bible's not telling you that you can't have wine. Let's go to John, the 2nd chapter. And you know, the sad part about this is I've heard people try to preach this away, try to talk like alcohol, something is wrong with alcohol in and of itself. No, this is John, the 2nd chapter. We want to pick it up at verse 1. John, the 2nd gospel according to John, chapter 2 and verse 1. Was a marriage in Cana, mother of, okay, so Mary was at this wedding, okay, this wedding feast, and both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. So now the Messiah and his followers are called to the wedding, because that's what a wedding was. They didn't go down to the courthouse. They had a marriage festival, okay, and you had these little witnesses, and there was a celebration, and then there was the consummation of the marriage, okay. It says, and then, and when they wanted wine, and in other places, of course, there was a dowry given. See, the way there was no marriage right now, and this marriage right now is a third party thing. You got a man and a woman, or in this case, today, 2 men or 2 women, and then you have the state. The state is the head of it. Okay? But nevertheless, it says, and when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto them, unto him they have no wine. So now they want a wine for what? For the feast, because it's a celebration, marriage festival. Jesus saith unto her, woman, what have I to do with thee? Mine hour is not yet come. His mother said unto the servants, whatsoever he said unto you, do it. She knew she must have knew he was going to do. He tell you, whatever my son tell you to do, go ahead and do it. And there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. She understood the power that he had. Then it says, Jesus said unto them, fill the water pots with water, and they filled them up to the brim. And he said unto them, draw out now and bear unto the feast of, bear unto the governor of the feast. And they bear it. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine. Now this is significant. If alcohol is sin to consume, if it is a sin to consume alcohol, then the Messiah, who was without sin, just caused everybody to sin that drank. We know that's not the case. He's the one that delivered the law unto Moses in the mount. So it says, when the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine and knew not whence it was, but the servants which drew the water knew, the governor of the feast called the bridegroom and said unto him, every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse, but thou hast kept the good wine until now. So you know how you have your best wine, everybody gets some, they drink and they ain't having attention. Okay, we got a good wine, let's give them this. He said, now it says something here, Keith. This beginning of miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. So now the first miracle that he did, this says the beginning of miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee and manifested forth his glory, was turning water to wine at a wedding. So if it's a sin to drink wine, how is this the case? Let's go to Luke, the 7th chapter. Luke, the 7th chapter. Luke chapter 7, and I'm going to pick it up at verse 34. And just to see something that is said. Actually, we could pick it up at verse 33. Because here the Messiah said something. He said, because he's talking about how people just don't want to hear. He said, for John the Baptist came neither eating bread nor drinking wine, and ye say he hath the devil. So now the forerunner, John the Baptist, who came in the spirit of Elijah, they weren't trying to hear what he had to say. But then it said, the Son of Man is come eating and drinking. And ye say, behold, a gluttonous man and a wine bibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. So now he comes in a different fashion. Same, it's not like they not teaching truth, but it's 2 methods. 2 methods. One out there eating locusts and wild honey. He's not doing any miracles. He's not doing any of that. He's just giving it to you straight. And then you got another one. They say he got a devil, but then another one, he drinking wine. What you drinking? He said, oh, he's a wine bibber. This is how much he drank. He must have been drinking wine to be called a wine bibber. He must have been drinking some wine to be called a wine bibber. Let's go to Psalms 104th chapter. And we should understand, brothers and sisters, that there are purposes for wine. 104 verse 14. 104 verse 14. And let me say this. I'm going to put this. I don't even drink. Okay, so I don't drink or smoke. I want to put that out there. Oh, this brother, he just want to be drunk. People come with all kinds of conclusions and wonder why you dealing with certain issues. I'm dealing with issue because it's in the Bible. Okay, so Psalms 104, and we want to pick it up at verse 14, 104 verse 14. It says he causes, now it's talking about what God does. It said he causes the grass to grow for the cattle and herb for the service of man. All right. It says that he may bring forth food out of the earth. So somebody said, herb, he talking about weed. See, we can smoke weed. No Bible, not saying that. He's talking about, even though that's agriculture, he's talking about the food that comes up for your consumption to eat. Okay. He causes the grass to grow for the cattle and herb for the service of man, that he may bring forth food out of the earth. Okay. Even the cattle is good for that. Then it says, and wine that maketh glad the heart of man, and oil to make his face to shine, and bread which strengtheneth man's heart. So what is the wine for? You saw they were at a wedding and everybody was, let's go back. Let's go to John. And let's see the situation. It says, and it said the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. And though Jesus was calling his disciples to the marriage, and when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus said unto him, they have no wine. Why they want wine? Why they want wine? Because it's a celebration. It's a beautiful thing. It's a celebration. So, but he says God has brought that forth. God has made that possible. So what's a purpose for wine? One purpose is the gladness of the heart. Let's see something else. Let's go to Proverbs, the 31st chapter, Proverbs 31. And we're going to pick it up at verse 6. Proverbs 31, because there's more than one purpose for wine. Proverbs 31 and verse 6. He says here, Proverbs 31 and verse 6, he said, Solomon writes, give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. So at times of mourning. Now he don't say get this to them, get this to them and get them drunk. It don't say that. It doesn't say that, but it says give strong drink unto them that is to him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that have a heavy heart. So it does say that. Let's go to another place. Let's go to 1 Timothy. See, the Bible is not telling you that wine, just a consumption of wine is sin. 1 Timothy 5. It don't even tell you, you can't say thou shalt not get drunk, but what you want to do, you should understand the nature of a thing. When you consume too much wine, it can lead to drunkenness. Drunkenness can lead to inhibition. Inhibition can lead to sinful behavior. But let's go here. This is First Timothy 5, and we want to pick it up at verse 23. 1 Timothy 5 and verse 23. He says, drink no longer water, but use a little wine for thy stomach's sake and infirmities. So here he's telling you the medicinal purposes of wine. Wine is good for your heart. Okay? But here he said, now I've read also that it's good for your stomach. Here we read it's good for your stomach. Okay? Now, because I want to read something here, because too much wine could be an issue. This is, and that's the issue. Too much wine is the problem. Let's see. This is from the Washington Post. This is an article entitled, Alcohol is the deadliest drug in the United States, and it's not even close. Well, all the stuff people talk about drugs, the big fervor about marijuana, even cocaine, crack, all the stuff, man, alcohol is the deadliest drug. It's the deadliest drug. It says, which intoxicating substance is associated with the most lethal violence? Devotees of the wine might presume that cocaine or maybe heroin would top the list, especially if you ask the worst causes of violence in poor minority communities. The correct answer by far is alcohol. So one way asks, why do I sit here and say that you could consume alcohol and then read this? Because it's the truth. The Bible's not telling you that you can't consume alcohol, but it definitely is warning you. And we're going to read the warnings out of the scriptures about the too much alcohol. See, you having a drink at dinner of some wine is not the problem. But you sitting there getting sloppy drunk is the problem. All praise to the Most High, if your questions are being answered. So now it says the correct answer by far is alcohol. It's involved in more homicides than pretty much every other substance combined. Alcohol's relative importance has grown over the last 15 years as aging populations of cocaine users account for a declining proportion of violent crime. Here in Chicago, positive cocaine screens in the Cook County Jail are down by about half when compared with 10 or 20 years ago. The same is true in many other cities. Now, I want you to listen to this, because they got one of these commercials. I can't think of what it is, which one it is. I really don't watch a whole lot of TV, but I know it's one commercial. It might be Budweiser or some company that says, or maybe they all say drink responsibly. right? Listen to this. It says surveys of people incarcerated for violent crimes indicate that about 40% had been drinking at the time they committed these offenses. Among those who had been drinking, average blood alcohol levels were estimated to exceed 3 times the legal limit. Drinking is especially common among perpetrators of specific crimes, including murder, sexual assault, and intimate partner violence. Correlation does not equal causation, of course. If offenders all stop drinking, we wouldn't see 100% reduction in their crimes. Yet alcohol does play a distinctive role. It lowers inhibitions, like I mentioned earlier. And among some people, fosters aggressive behavior that ratchets up the risk that violence will somehow occur. Let me say something to you. Peace to everybody that's listening. I talk about college days. Growing up, like, man, I was in a fraternity. I was in there. It was down with all my cousins. And all my cousins love to fight. I can't tell you how many fights I have seen, witnessed, been in. Fight. I got one cousin, if he was going out, he was getting drunk. And if he was getting drunk, he was going to fight. And if he was going to fight, that means everybody's going to fight. I've seen people talk reckless to people and get knocked out on many occasions. Why? Because somebody was drunk. I've seen bottles hit upside the head. I've seen people shoot, been shot at, seen all kind of things. And you know what? I've seen people almost die alcohol poisoning on. I've seen people laid out in the street because they drunk. I've seen all kind of stuff. And the main factor, and I wasn't a big drinker. That was the thing. I wasn't a big these huge parties. Because again, that's what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm gonna get this club. When I graduate from college, I'm gonna get this club, I'm gonna get this liquor license, we're gonna get this thing popping. Because I know how to do this. I saw all this money in it. But one thing about it, man, that's one thing you always saw was all the alcohol people were consuming. Had a roommate, he was an alcoholic. Woke up drinking. We probably from Wednesday, we used to get the penny pincher, big pitcher of beer, this big for a penny. All the way to Sunday morning. All that alcohol. So fights galore. Right? People fornicating galore. All this what's going on? Because they are drunk. People are drunk. So they're not making good decisions. And you see here what it say, these jails are full of people who, when they committed the crime, they were drunk. A lot of times alcohol is used to, and that oftentimes what you are, it exacerbates it. So if you violent, you start drinking. Like I know, like I was talking about my cousin, he was a belligerent drunk. He was a belligerent drunk. He was terrible. I mean, you talk to him, he starts as mellow, but when he get that alcohol, oh man, you look at him wrong, it's over. It's over. So that's something to be taken into consideration. You look at sexual assault. Oftentimes, sexual assault, or even making terrible decisions. People waking up drunk, waking up somebody else, and you make, who was this? Because they dealing with alcohol. Yeah, that's that. And it is it's me being in the military. It's a lifestyle for the majority of people. It's crazy. I'm sure it is. The stuff they dealing with. A lot of times, people dealing with separation from their family, dealing with things they may have seen if they're in combat, or various things going on, right? So alcohol is being used as a way to cope with reality, just like drugs, just like people. You know, how in the world can people sit there and snort cocaine or shoot up heroin? Because the human condition is so terrible. That's why they do that. And alcohol is one of the easiest ones to get your hands on. That's one of the easiest ones to get your hands on. People have, I ain't say I did it, but some people I know had a fake ID at 18 that could go in and buy alcohol like it was nothing. I ain't saying that was me. I'm saying I know somebody like that. So who just get the alcohol, and people get alcohol and they drinking the alcohol to do things that they wouldn't normally do. To tell truths that's on their mind that they would even keep it locked up, wouldn't say anything. And then you got drunk and then said something. Not everybody, man. You can sober up the next day and they looking at you like, what y'all mad for? Oh, you don't remember what you did? You don't remember what you said? Yeah, what you think? People take alcohol, drink alcohol so they can kill themselves or kill somebody else. They want to be brave. Or taking that alcohol and then dealing with somebody in a sexual way that they wouldn't have never even looked at if they were sober. What they call them when we was in college, beer goggles. So you have to be mindful, brothers and sisters. It's not about you taking a sip of alcohol. It's about you, like the commercial saying, like basically like the book is saying, drink responsibly. Okay? I want to read something here still in Proverbs 31. Because here it says the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. What my son and what the son of my womb and what the son of my vows. Give not thy strength unto women. That is true. Don't give you, if you're a man, don't give your strength to women. He said, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Now I'm talking, so he said, don't give your strength to women. It's saying don't give your strength to women and don't give your ways to that which will destroy you. He said, it is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink. He tells you why. He said, lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Okay. Then we read about giving strong drink to who it should be given to. So you shouldn't be a drunkard. You shouldn't be a drunkard if you're a king. You can't be just dealing in all this because you're supposed to execute judgment. Let's go to 1 Timothy. You shouldn't be engaged in that. Let's see. Let's go to 1 Timothy. Let's see somebody else who shouldn't be engaged in that. This is 1 Timothy 3 and verse 1. It said, this is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth the good work. So now he's going to give you the qualifications of a bishop. And there are certain qualifications that, first of all, no woman can be a bishop. Regardless of what's being taught today, no woman can be a bishop, and many men are disqualified from being bishops. Listen, he said a bishop then must be blameless, because he's giving you the qualifications. The bishop must be blameless, the husband of one wife, talking about his first wife, that's what it's talking about. Then it said vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach. You have to have the aptitude to teach. You have to have a certain character. Then it says something, not given to wine. Wait a minute, he can't be a drunkard. You can't be drinking all the time and then dealing with the word of God. Why? Because your thinking is going to be hindered if you are drunk. Okay, let's go to peace to you. Let's go to, we still in 1 Timothy. Let's go to let's see, Proverbs 20. Let's go back to Proverbs the 20th chapter, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Because here he warns you about how you can be scorned by this wine. It says wine in verse 1, Proverbs 21, wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. What do you mean deceived thereby? You steady drinking, and now the alcohol is in control. The alcohol is in control. Now you're doing any and everything, right? You're not even thinking consciously. And you see, I've seen people in the Word. At feasts. That's one place they serve wine, and people drinking wine. They drinking wine, and it's good, and drinking wine, and drinking wine. Let's get some more wine. There's wine here. Let's drink some wine. Whiskey too. Let's drink a little of that. Let's take a shot. Wine. And then, wait a minute. Now you talking crazy. Now people look at you like, whoa. Because you know what didn't happen? You didn't have too much. Now you're saying stuff you shouldn't say. Now you look like a fool. I've seen that on more than one occasion. So what you need to do is drink responsibly if you're gonna drink. Like I said, I don't drink wine. I don't drink. Nothing wrong. I'm not saying anything wrong with drinking. I'm not, so please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying something's wrong with having a drink, but you need to be mindful of how you do it. Let's go to Proverbs, the 23rd chapter. Proverbs, the 23rd chapter and verse, we're going to pick it up verse 24. Proverbs 23 and verse, hold on one second. 29. It says, actually, I will pick it up at verse. Yeah, I'll pick it up verse 29. It says, who have woe, who have sorrow, who have contentions, who have babbling, who have wounds without cause. Okay. So when it's talking about who have the redness of eyes and your eyes are bloodshot, then it says, they that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. So who, listen to this, who have woe, meaning you got trouble. Who have sorrow, sadness, who have contention, now you're fighting, who have battles, you're talking crazy, who have wounds without cause, meaning you taking unnecessary punishment, who have redness of the eyes, whose eyes are bloodshot. He tells you, they that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine, the wine bibber, the one that's really going out that wine to get drunk. So all these things come upon you. I had a uncle, he was calling him uncle. He was so much older. He was a cousin. Man, I remember years ago, family reunion. He was on drugs, heavy, but then when he kicked the drug, you know, a lot of times when people kick one drug, they replace it with something else. So he had replaced it with alcohol and cigarettes. And man, he was plus the busting spades, pop, 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 pop. And he, as they called it back in the day, playing the dozens. Like the young kids say today, they roasting, right? Oh man, he talked about everybody so bad. He told my one aunt, you know, you look like vomit, right? He just talking, right? But he was like Richard Pryor funny, right? So he, you know, he's cracking all these jokes. He steady drinking. He kept talking about frying some fish. And one of my cousins was like, man, don't let him get in that kitchen frying that fish. He messing around because he is drunk. He messing around, kill us all frying that fish. But you know what I'm saying? People, he was doing it. He was acting crazy. But then when you ain't want to let him fry the fish, now he ready to fight. Oh yeah. Yeah, he talk about you. He talk about you. So he make you want to cry. You cry on the inside. That's how bad he was. Like my man said in the movie, he gonna cry in the car. He would cry on the inside. You be laughing, man. He get to talking about you, man. You wanna disappear. But nevertheless, it says, they that tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine. He said, look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth its color in the cup, when it moveth itself. All right, that wine be looking good. You taking a drink, you know what's bad? I tell you what's bad. Not saying I know, but let me tell you what's bad. When you drink, and you like, oh, this ain't nothing. Give me another. You done drunk so fast, it ain't kicked in yet. And next thing you know, you like, whoa. You wobble. You about to fall over. Cause you done boom, 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 knocked them back. You like, oh man, I'm good. This ain't, I'm cool. No, you done went beyond your buzz. You drunk. Now you realize, oh, I'm drunk. Now you're on a roller coaster. You be sitting there, I'll never drink Crown Royal again. Oh, this tequila, I can't do. You on a roller coaster, but you ain't on no real roller coaster. You on a roller coaster, then you threw up. Not saying that happened to me. I'm just saying. So it says, look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth its color in the cup, when it moveth itself all right. At the last, it biteth like a serpent and stingeth like an adder. Next thing you know, boom, you drunk. Now the foolishness begins. It says, thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thy heart shall utter perverse things. Yea, thou shalt be as he that lieth down in the midst of the sea, or as he that lieth upon the top of the mast. They have stricken me, shall thou say, and I was not sick. They have beaten me, and I felt it not. When shall I wake? I will seek it yet again. So what he's saying, man, you rambling, you talking crazy, you looking at women. What your name is? You doing all kind of stuff, and then you fall out, you pass out, and then you hear the birds chirping because you sleep on the grass. The birds chirping, or you done fell asleep over somebody's house or whatever it is. Now you wake up, you got a hangover. Then you like, oh man, where we going tonight? Same foolishness. Same foolishness. See, one thing about, and again, I'm not saying things wrong with drinking, but one thing about it is, number one, I look at it, I say, man, I don't want any habits. Number two, I can't, that's like people with smoking. I don't even see how you could even, if you about purpose, brothers and sisters, a lot of times you can't be focused on other stuff like that. So I don't, yeah. And I want to always be the one to what could talk to the police if necessary. I don't want to be something happened and the police show up, because even when I was throwing those parties, I was the one that would go talk to the police. Because college campuses, it's like stuff be going on crazy, and the cops know what's going on, but they just want the mess contained. So once that stuff starts spilling out and you getting cops calls from neighbors and so forth, then the cops come. Or something, so I want to be sorry. I don't talk to the police and they say, sir, have you been drinking? No, I'll talk to the police. I'm going to be sober. But I'm sober because I want to always have a sober mind. The last place, you go to Galatians. Because just like then, with all the revelry and all the things that was going on, Paul talks about that type of thing not becoming a saint. That's just like when I realized, I said, man, I can't be no club owner and try to deal with the word of God. I wasn't preaching at this time. I was 21, 22 coming into the word. And I'm like, man, I can't deal with the word of God and be doing this. Why? Because I understand that this is a venue to where people are coming to basically to hook up and fornicate, get drunk and do it. Be in a bathroom, snorting coke, doing all kind of stuff. I'm not going to be involved in that. I could have made some money though. I know I could have, but hey, some things are more important. Galatians 5 and verse 16. Galatians 5 and verse 16. It says, this I say then, walk in the spirit and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. All right. So now this is dealing with what we were dealing with yesterday. So walking in the spirit, he said, for the flesh lusts against the spirit and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary to one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that you would. Right. Even one of these can be manifested in the sense that you are lusting after drink. I say, you know what, I'm gonna have a drink. It's like, man, you got to. I remember one time I was working for the city. I was still in college, and in the summer I was working for the city. It was like the recycling department. They dealt with the recycling, and one of the things that we had to do, it's like maybe 7 o'clock in the morning. This is in the hood, so. This in the hood. We in it's a bad part of town. We were cleaning up, but this is downtown, but it's still bad. Okay, abandoned buildings everywhere. And I was out there cleaning. We were out there cleaning up the streets, just cleaning. And man, why this liquor store was open this early, I don't know. But I saw this, what they called back in the day a wino. You ain't seen no wino like this. People, you say people are alcoholic? No. This how you know. This man he was like Ned the wino on Good Times. He took a fifth of Wild Irish Rose. I'm cleaning, I'm looking at him. He had a trench coat just like he came out of a time capsule. He had a trench coat or the Inspector Gadget coat, just like they wore back in the day. Man, and he had a fifth of Wild Irish Rose and drunk the whole fifth. Did not take a breath. He did not take a breath. He just cracked it open and drunk a whole fifth of Wild Irish Rose without stopping. I'm looking at him. Like so, yeah, that's when you lusting out so much you don't get it, you get sick, right? You craving this. So it says, he said, but if you be led of the spirit, ye are not under the law. Well, let me go back. He said, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that you would. Just like you could be lusting after that, you could be lusting after illicit sexual behavior. You could be lusting after some swine you shouldn't be eating, right? You could be wanting to deal back in idolatry. There's so many things that you could be doing that you shouldn't be doing that all cause from the lust of the flesh. So he says, but if ye be led by the spirit, ye are not under the law. He said, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders. Then he says something: drunkenness, revelings, and such like. Now, what are you talking about, drunkenness and reveling? Because one thing about it, brothers and sisters, illicit sexual behavior oftentimes is associated directly with alcohol. And back here, these people were dealing all kind of orgies and everything else. That's just what, when you understand, it's written real nice, but this is what they were dealing with. Because this is the culture. When you look at some of these gods, Bacchus and others, when you look at what the deities that they were worshiping, when you look at when you look at some of these days, when you look at Saturnalia and the Brumalia, what do you think they were doing? When you look at Carnival, what do you think they were doing? He says, of the which I tell you before, as I told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. See, some things go together. And if you're a child of God and you're on this walk, you have to refrain from those things. So if you decide to take a sip of wine, understand that, peace to you, peace to everybody that's listening, that it is imperative that you do it in a responsible way. And that you not do it, and know your limits. No, because once you've gone past the limit, it's too far. You know, I've seen so many people, like I said, many people being in certain environments back, when I was younger, seeing people, you take off somebody, you be like, man, get his keys. He trying to drive, he can't drive. I'm good, I'm straight. You can't even walk right. Yeah, I said I'm straight, they won't fight. Or you can't tell somebody buzz, then somebody go run into something or somebody. So you have to be careful. Or you drunk and your reaction time is slowed and you not understanding that, hey, you getting drunk, then some that you don't want to happen can happen. Let's go to one more place. Let's go to Genesis. Genesis, the 9th chapter. Genesis, the 9th chapter. We want to pick it up at verse, let's see. It's in Genesis 9. Now, this is Noah after the flood. Let's pick it up at Genesis 9 and verse 20. Okay, because this after the flood, you got Noah and his wife and his sons and their 3 wives. Then it says, and Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard. And he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his 2 brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father, and their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. Now, understand, it's a lot of different speculation about what this could have meant. What is he dealing with Noah's wife? It's a lot of speculation, but the main thing we should understand is that perhaps it wouldn't have happened in those same circumstances if he wasn't drunk. Not blaming Noah. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm saying is, see, you drunk, you out of it. So what's going on around you, you have no clue. Even if you sleep, you got a soul mind. You sleep, you wake up like, what's going on? But when you drunk, you done. You vomit it all on your pillow. You out of your mind. You can't react. So even if it's not you that's going to sin, you need to understand that when you are drunk, you are vulnerable. You might not think it, but when you are drunk, you are vulnerable. You're vulnerable to based on your own loosening of inhibitions, and you're vulnerable to other people, in regard to other people, because they can take advantage of you. So always be conscious of what you're doing, and you do want to stay away from the appearance of evil as well, and you want to make sure that what you're doing is on the up and up in the right circumstances. And with that, brothers and sisters, like the video. It's always my prayer that you were edified. And what else? We meet at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time at 5925 West 25th Avenue in Gary, Indiana. We live stream right here on the Israel Teach YouTube channel, as well as at www.israelteach.org. Peace to everybody that's listening. The sister got the emoji and a glass of wine. Be careful. And with that, so it's my prayer that you were edified.